Britain's Foreign Secretary welcomed her rich world counterparts with a brass band and Covid-conscious fist bumps. The UK, the US, Canada, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, the G7 is a club of advanced economy democracies and their friends. And these meetings are a chance for them to affirm both what they're for and what they're against. Of all their perceived threats, Covid, China, Iran and more, it's that of Russia that is seen as the hottest issue. With Russian troops massed on the other side of the Ukrainian border, there's clear alarm from Western democracies about the possibility of an invasion. But Germany's Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline project with Russia is an example that true unity can be elusive. Germany's new Green Party foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, is against it. Her Social Democrat boss, Chancellor Olaf Scholz, is for it. And Germany is not yet agreeing to threaten Russia, as the US and UK would like, with blocking Nord Stream 2 if it invades Ukraine.
In May this year, a plane flying from Athens to Vilnius, Lithuania, was forced to land in Minsk, where the Belarusian police arrested oppositionist Roman Protasevich, who was a passenger on the plane. The Polish Secret Service has revealed a timeline of events, which they compiled from the testimony of a flight controller there, who has since fled to Poland. The evidence was presented by Stanisław Żaryn, spokesman for the coordinator of Polish Secret Services. He reported that Poles have the accounts of a direct witness who was in the control tower during the interception of the plane and saw the traffic being commanded by a Belarusian KGB officer. We've presented facts that unequivocally show that the hijacking of the Ryanair plane was an operation by Belarusian special services. Its aim was to detain a political opponent of Alexander Lukashenko's government. To this end, false information about a bomb threat was created. The plane's crew was terrorized and the freedom of the passengers who were on board was restricted.
In the Austrian capital Vienna, tens of thousands of people took part in a protest after the Freedom Party called for demonstrations against mandatory Covid vaccinations and home confinement for those who haven't yet been jabbed. The party's chief, Herbert Kickl, spoke at the rally and joined in the singing of the country's national anthem. In Spain, thousands of people also marched peacefully through the centre of Madrid on Saturday in protests against the government's approach to the coronavirus. Protesters, flanked by police vans, held banners reading "Fake Pandemic" and "I won't get vaccinated." And there were similar scenes in Catalonia on Saturday, where thousands turned out on the streets of Barcelona to protest against the introduction of Covid passports in the region. Close to 90% of people eligible for vaccination have received 2 doses. Cases have risen, but hospitals are coping so far.
A 4-storey building has collapsed in the Sicilian town of Ravenusa following a gas explosion and fire. 12 residents are missing, including 3 children. Local authorities are reporting a natural gas pipe exploded, sparking a fire. Firefighters have contained the fire and have begun digging through the rubble to search for the missing, which includes a young couple expecting a baby. At least 2 other buildings were damaged by the explosion. The town of 11,000 people is located near Agrigento in southwest Sicily. Two Tibetan students have chained themselves to the Olympic rings outside the Swiss headquarters of the International Olympic Committee in Lausanne. They're calling for an international boycott of next year's Winter Games. Demonstrators joined the pair in protest over what they say is Beijing's abuse of human rights and its treatment of minorities. Members of the Tibetan Youth Association in Europe held a sit-in at the IOC building as officials gathered for a meeting. The activists demanded countries withdraw from the event they have called the Genocide Games.
The leader of opposition in Benin was sentenced to 20 years in jail on Saturday following a trial described by her legal team as a political attack. Rekia Madugu was arrested in the economic capital Cotonou last March, just weeks before the election, and accused of financing an operation to assassinate political figures in an alleged bid to destabilize the country.
Iran's nuclear talks with world powers resumed in Vienna, but chances of a return to the 2015 deal through diplomacy are fading away. Now, an Iranian military official has warned that the West of paying a heavy price after reports claim that US and Israel are set to hold military drills to prepare for possible strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. A Twitter handle affiliated with Iran's top security body tweeted, I'm quoting here, providing conditions for military commanders to test Iranian missiles with real targets will cost the aggressors a heavy price. Israel and US have discussed the destruction of Iran's nuclear sites in case the talks fail. Israel's defense minister Benny Gantz says he has introduced Israeli defense forces to prepare to strike Iran, and Gantz also shared a timeline for when such an attack might take place with his US counterparts.